you see any problem here, Ted? We ain't got no engines, do we? Where are the engines, Ted? Where are the engines? Poor Ted. We got some engines. We've got broken engines that the camshaft won't come out of. We've got rusty engines that look like they've been stored at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. We've even got some engines with holes in the side of the block that I put there. But what I'm most proud of is our new aluminum engine that we put new bearings in. We still don't know if we did it right, but there's only one good way to find out. So let's get this thing together today. Alright, so the game plan today, what we're hoping to do is finish the assembly of the engine. I got the head studs that are all short, the proper ones for this engine that I didn't get last time, and I'd like to get this thing thrown the rest of the way together. Unfortunately, the trans had to come out of the car. That was a buddy of mine's, and he's like, hey, I'm in a jam, I need it. No problem. We've got another power glide to replace it that is not as well built, but it's what we've got, so it's what we're going with. I'd like to see if we can't get this thing the rest of the I'd like to see if we can't get this thing the rest of the way together, maybe get the trans in, get the motor in, start putting everything back together, because it's like 11 days till Race Wars. Darlington. So we've got some work to do. I'm not gonna bore you guys with all that. Let's just get to it and get to work. Pro tip for today from your boy from Matt Ryce Professional Machine Shop. You know when you got them head studs in there and you gotta get the washer on, take washer. Oh, look at that. They go right into place. Bada boom, bada bang. Nice and easy. Professional. I envision a world where one day I don't gotta clean off crap off of junkyard motors because I don't know, maybe a machine shop has a reasonable turnaround time. Oh. Can't use these heads anyway. I mean, we can. We got a little damage here. A little bitty bit of damage. None of that's on sealing surface. Oh yeah, it is right there. Back to the world that I want to live in. Maybe we could have clean heads and blocks and stuff that doesn't require getting the dirt off of it first, or who knows, even maybe one day like a new engine, new heads, parts that go together without the extra unnecessary time of just cleaning, or in this case a little light sanding. That's the world I want to live in one day, but that ain't the world that I live in today. So good news is we got plenty of spares on extra heads, so that's not going to be the end of the world. I just would have to swap over springs and retainers and stuff from this to another one. I never realized it. I guess this must have been on the one where I grenaded the side of the block. and some stuff. Like in here, it's not the end of the world because, you know, not a big deal. It's not touching anything, but I want to make sure here on this mating surface, we're good. And like here, this is nothing. I can, you know, sand that down a little bit. It's going to be fine. I just didn't realize every day we try to come out to this garage and we try to do something. And instead of like everything just going according to plan in the way that I had thought it out in my head and the way that it should work, we're faced with challenges. And I think that's what really pisses people off, because a lot of people would have challenges, flat out just quit. And I'm too stupid to quit, so somehow we just keep forcing ourselves forward. And I don't know that this is going to be ready for Darlington February 11th, but there's also kind of a reason I picked that race, because that one is a very, very horrible backside, and you're not going to go the fastest you've ever gone. So we don't have to have everything completely figured out, you know, full tilt power-wise, that kind of stuff, to go down there and enjoy ourselves. Plus, it's just racing, so we're going to go down there, be with friends, have fun, you know. People forget, like, there's that whole other part of doing this that isn't just about being the fastest or the greatest racer ever. Would I love to? Come on, who wouldn't? But I also enjoy hanging out with my friends, traveling, meeting people, meeting you guys that watch the videos. That's all a part of this stuff. So hopefully we can get it right to where I can bring a car and at least have some fun, because it's also February, so it's the beginning of the season. So, you know, we can just start shaking stuff down, get an idea of what's going on, but also have some fun. Or I'll just, you know, roll it out into the driveway, like the whole thing on fire, walk away, pretend I never raced a car. And that wouldn't do any good, because it wouldn't take very long at all before I'd be having another great idea of building a race car and going racing again. Might as well just work with what we got. Oh, there's that one. The good news is your boy likes hoarding LS engines and parts. That set of heads may not work, which are 862s. Wouldn't you know, I've got more 862, right? 862 heads on the shelf with the same exact valve spring setup that's in there. And on here, yeah. So we'll find the best one, and that's what we'll use today. Oh, and we still got some LS1 heads, we got some 6.0 heads, we got heads. We got head. Little professional tech tip here. You've just completely coated your head gaskets in that Permatex copper spray. How do you know which side is front? Because it was marked on the head gasket, right? Nice and easy. We'll throw that on there. Because if you read the directions, they do want you to like let this tack a little bit before you go crazy on torquing it down. But right here, you see this tab right here? On LS stuff, this tab should be in the front. It'll be number 3 or number 4. I mean, you could still kind of see in there it says front, but if you're like, oh, I really covered it and I can't figure out which direction it goes, that's the direction it goes in. This is either the best boner I've ever built or the worst. Bam! Big power engine. We have got the long block assembled. I got the oil pump on. I forgot that I screwed up my front timing cover gasket, so I gotta go get one of those tomorrow. I gotta go get some brake clean. I gotta get a couple little things, but we've got an assembled long block. So I'm gonna pause, and then we're gonna magically come back, and it'll be like, you know, hours and hours and hours past, but you guys will not know. It's completely like the Twilight Zone. So when we come back, and the next clip, I'll be doing more stuff to this, and we'll start dropping it in. I found something strange last night after I put the oil pump on that I'm trying to figure out now. If you look, this side of the timing chain is loose, and that's pretty normal for LS stuff. And then this side is loose, right? But as we spin it, that's weird. So before I disconnected the rockers, when I was spinning it, there was like tight and loose spots in the timing chain. Now it's all loose like it's supposed to be. That's odd. It's not what I was expecting to happen there. You can, if you look here, there's 2 bolt holes here. Some of them do have it, but a lot of like all the Gen 3 stuff and some of the earlier stuff, you can put a tensioner for the chain in here. We don't have one. I don't know that this one came with it or not. I'll have to see. But yeah, but now, whereas what was happening is as I was turning it, this would tighten up and then loose and tighten up and loose. But now it's not doing it. So now I'm slightly confused. And as you can see, this is where they talk about timing on the LS, right? Can sometimes be an issue in verifying timing. Because if you look, just based on the slack of this chain, right here, let me get it around to the timing mark. So, right here, dot to dot, but look at how that's moving with the slack of the timing chain. That's weird. That's not what I expected to happen. All right, this one might have to be a phone a friend.
Yeah, no,
like,
that is pretty weird.
Like I was thinking, like maybe there was something wrong with the cam gear, and we were gonna swap out cam gears and see if that changed anything. But it's not. It's only under pressure of the valve train that it's doing that. Now that the rockers are hooked back up, now we see tight here, and then as I go through, looser, how it's really supposed to be. It's still a little loose, or still a little tight, but much looser, tight. Now, maybe entirely normal, I don't know. We're gonna phone a friend on this one so we can figure it out. In here, and I'm just not sure if I'm just being overthinking it or what. Timing chain, right?
Yeah, replace it.
You see how it's tight here?
Yeah.
Loose here, right? This is pretty standard for LS shit.
Yeah.
The problem is when I turn it over, it goes through series where it gets looser and tighter on this side. Now, if I relieve the rockers and have no pressure, it's loose on both sides all the way around like it's supposed to be.
The way you rotate it, right? The one side's gonna stay tight, and the other side's gonna stay loose. Because you're pulling down on the right side, and the left side's got the slack in it.
Yeah. But see, that's where it this is where it gets weird, is that it's tight and then it gets to a point where it's loose.
Only a section on the chain where it's stretched more than another section.
See if you got a different chain that's a little bit tighter on that than that one.
Alright, yeah, I got another, I grabbed one. I've got other timing chains because I got a bunch of these junk LSs floating around, so I'll swap out the chain and see if that helps it. But that makes a lot more sense too about the way that it's pulling. So it's going to be tight on the side that it's pulling and loose. See, that's why you're smarter than me. Yep, I never thought about that, but you're exactly right. All right, I appreciate it.
Hey, buddy.
All right, I'll hit you up later.
I'm good, bud. See ya.
See ya. All right, so it pays to have friends smarter than you. Nick just made a very valid point, which is very basic concept of thinking that I didn't realize. When it's turning this way, this side is naturally always going to be tighter than this side because that's the way that it's turning. So I have another chain. I've got multiple chains. I'm going to see if they match up, number one, because they should. There's no difference in the height between the cam and the crank in Gen 3 or Gen 4 LS or any of that. So we'll make sure they match up. We'll try other chains to see if we can find something that's a little bit better on the slack. I'm really feeling confident that, whereas I was concerned that maybe I put in a cam bearing crooked or I screwed up something there or whatever, which is still possible. But that's where I was like, man, this whole thing's got to come apart. I don't think that's the case. I think we just have a timing chain issue. Get it fixed up, keep moving on. All we can do. Take crap as it's thrown at me, wipe it off, and keep it moving. My old history teacher one time said there's two types of people in the world. Sometimes when you wipe your butt, you go through the toilet paper and you get a little poo in your hand. And there's one type of person that just freaks out and, oh my God, it's poo. Like they go crazy. And then the other person's like, I got some poo on my hand. Probably wash that off. We're just washing poo. That's all we're doing. Can you look at a straight face through that sequence?
Nope.
Washing poo. Put it on a t-shirt. All right, let's undo this. Mucho better. Problem solved. Crisis averted. You gonna be a race car driver, Meatball? You don't have the answer to that question?
No.
No. No, you don't have the answer to the question, or no, you're not gonna be a race car driver?
I don't have the answer to that question.
Gotcha. Well, I'm gonna go wash this in your bathtub.
No, you washing your bathtub.
Yours is closer.
No.
It is. This oil can, I've seen something. It's got some battle scars. It's been in a hurt engine or two. But we just keep cleaning it out. It's got a little repair on the inside. This oil can can do a lot. We're almost done. Feels like it's taking forever. Totally. After many trials and tribulations, we have assembled long block that I think should do pretty well. Unfortunately, I gotta get the other transmission in here, so we got a different power glide we gotta put in, and then we can start working on putting the motor in, hooking everything up, getting it figured out. Right now, we're still a little on the fence about Darlington. I think we're gonna go regardless of whether or not we bring a car, but as far as the Nova making it, Not so sure just quite yet. But hopefully we will get this thing and that thing sitting in the corner and the turbo sitting over there and the piping all around and the converter that's probably now bad from sitting all in, get it done, and be making some hits here shortly. So as much as I wanted to get this all in and running, maybe next video will be getting it all together, getting it in and running. Sounds about good. I'm done for the day. I'm taking my union mandated break. I'm just kidding, we don't have a union. I work for myself. So it's like, you know, 9,000 hours a week. Just typical, standard stuff. I remember my first part-time job. That's what they tell me. Alright, I'll see you guys next time, where I'm going to start pre-planning getting some of this stuff in, and hopefully it all goes together, fires right up, and we have no issues, and we can go smooth sailing right on down south to the racetrack. Is that like a, you know, you mean you picture it in your mind?
We'll just put it up here.
Yeah, not rough seas. We don't want rough, we just want smooth sailing. Until next time, I'm out.